All right, Fox News Alert breaking just a while ago. China now hitting the United States with new 84% tariffs, up from 34%, set to kick in tomorrow. They've upped it 50 points. It's all in retaliation to President Trump's 104% tariff, now in effect on all Chinese goods. So how did it get to this? Well, Donald Trump this year already set a 20% tariff on Chinese imports for its role in fentanyl trafficking. And then an additional 34% tariff last week in his Liberation Day announcement when China threatened to retaliate, and then Trump doubled down with another 50%. Added up, so far, we're at 104%. Elaine Dezenski is from the Foundation for Defense of Democracy. She joins us right now. Elaine, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Okay, we knew the Chinese were going to come back, and now they've hit us with 84%. What say you about how messy this is going to get?
Well, I think it may get messier before we see some resolution. So we're in day 2. I think that's the first thing we need to understand. It is likely that we're going to see these escalatory discussions and rhetoric for some time. I think the Chinese Communist Party has decided that they're digging in. President Trump has been very clear that he's not backing down. So this is the situation we're in. This is a trade war. We need to acknowledge it. And we need to start thinking about what comes next. So the real question is where the off-ramp's going to be for this conversation between the U.S. and China.
Right.
And that's where we get into the details. Yeah.
Indeed. And so while it's the second day of the Trump imposition of the tariffs against China, it's the second week of the market sell-off. And right now, stock market futures are down another 600 or 700 points. That's not good for people who, despite better sense, are looking at their 401k thinking it's a 201k now. I think, and I'm sure you would agree, as soon as the administration announces a deal with somebody else, Japan, South Korea, the UK, Switzerland, Malaysia, any of those countries, as soon as it's clear they will do deals, I think the market will turn around.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. And this is the opportunity. We've been living in a trade environment that is anything but free and open. The big problem in the global trade arena is China and the way that it uses subsidies and non-market practices. So now is our opportunity to say that these practices are no longer tenable. We have to go back to historic trade alliances. There may be new alliances that we want to make under terms and conditions that are fair, open, and prosperous.
Right.
Prosperous for the U.S., but also for others.
Sure. And, you know, in the first term of Donald Trump, you know, he went after the tariffs and got some, and many of them still in place. I don't think so many people thought it was going to be quite this painful this time. But ultimately, when you try to reset the entire world economy, it's going to hurt.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we have to be honest about that. There are always costs. There are costs to the reset, but the costs are going to be greater in a few years if we don't deal with these issues now. I really think there's an opportunity to get back to the trade alliance, to isolate China. China is counting on Europe as a substitute market for the U.S. And now is the time to open up the conversations with our European trading partners and make sure that we have a harmonious approach to China.
Yeah, and we look at the deficit right there with China. Elaine, exit question. So now we have imposed 104% tariffs on China. They're 20% behind us at 84%. Ultimately, it's going to come down to who blinks first. And neither one of them want to be the first one.
Yeah. Well, right now, neither will be. So I think we have a bit of ways to go here on the escalation before we get to the conversation on the off-ramps. But one thing we really have to keep in mind is China, as an exporter, a surplus country, has a very difficult time responding to tariffs. So to some extent, they're shooting blanks, and that will become clear.
Okay. Hope you're right. Elaine, thank you very much for joining us today.